how are you doing? This is going to be a wrap up. I haven't done one in so long because I honestly was not the biggest fan of them for a good chunk of the year, but I realized that I actually enjoy them if they are on the shorter side. So I'm thinking that I'm still going to do them because I think that they're nice to have kind of like my thoughts on every book that I read in the month in one video, but I'm gonna try and do them a lot shorter than I usually do. The first book that I read is Love Story by Lindsay Kelk. I really liked this book. I didn't have high expectations, but I saw a booktuber talking about it and she had so many nice things to say. She said that it was a really nice book and she really enjoyed it, even though she doesn't usually read romance. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna give it a try, and actually really enjoyed it. I really liked the writing. I'm definitely gonna read more from this author, but I will say it dragged out a bit. We could have wrapped it up a lot sooner, and a bunch of different things in the book were kind of dragging out for no reason. For that reason, I ended up giving it 3.75 stars. I would still recommend it. Obviously, it's almost 4 stars. It's a really good rating. Yeah, it wasn't like my favorite. And then I read one of my favorite books from the month, probably my favorite one, to be honest, and that is The Snowball Effect by Haley Cass. I love this book. This is a sapphic romance. It feels like it's going to be a winter like holiday romance. I wouldn't say that it is. It didn't give me, it's set in New York, so I guess that is part of it, but at the same time a good chunk of it is set in summertime, so I wouldn't say that it's Christmassy, even though the title kind of seems Christmassy, but it was so good. This is a fake dating sapphic romance, like I said. It's also rivals to roommates to friends to lovers, and I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. It was so good. I gave it 4.5 stars, and this is the first book that I'm reading from Haley Cass. I'm definitely gonna be reading a lot more. It was so good. The writing was phenomenal. This is a book that is on the longer side. I think that it's pretty close to 500 pages. Oh, okay. It's actually 600 pages, but I loved it. I could not put it down. I finished it in 2 days, stayed up late reading this book because I could not go to sleep without finishing the book. If you want a sapphic romance that is done incredibly well, like this is one of the best fake dating books I have ever read. The characters felt like they were my friends. They were so real. They were so just... They were perfect. Their backstories, their family stories, their whole life story, I guess. It was done amazingly. I highly recommend this book. It's probably going to be one of my favorites from the whole year. And it was a very pleasant surprise. Then, going from a very high to a very low, we have Game Changer by Rachel Reed. This is the first book in the Game Changers series, I guess. I gave it 2 stars. Yeah, it was not for me. It's a male romance. It didn't have anything going for it. It was unrealistic. It was kind of instant attraction and then instant love. At the same time, we have, I'm pretty sure that it's like 300 pages. How many pages is it? Oh my god, it's 368 pages. You didn't see the characters spend that much time together. I mean, they spent time together, but they were not talking. They were not sharing their lives with each other. They were more so doing spicy things, which fair, okay, get it, but like I want to see more. And at the same time, I feel like the struggle of coming out, because basically we have one of the male characters is a sports person. It's an athlete. He's an athlete and he has not come out yet. And one day he walks into this smoothie shop and he sees this guy, and out of nowhere he's like, I don't care that my whole life I have been trying to show the world that I am straight. I don't care about that. I'm just gonna go and try and sleep with him. You have been telling me that throughout your whole existence you have not spent time together romantically, I guess, with another guy in your country because you're scared that people are going to find out. And now all of a sudden you see this guy 3 different times, and you're like, oh no, I want him. It just felt so unrealistic, so insta-lovey, and just, it was not for me. I do want to continue with the series though, call me a masochist, but I feel like it has potential. I'm pretty sure that this is the first book from this author, and I do love a male romance, so I'm hoping that they're gonna get better. Really hoping, because if they continue to be like this, they're not gonna be for me. No. And then, because apparently I was in the search for a male romance, I read Rookie Recovery by Lex Vaya and Gemma Croft. This is the first book in the Bobcat Boys series. This was better, but not by much. I give it 2.75 stars, which is an okay book. I liked it. It was fun. It was enjoyable, but so many parts of it were missing. I didn't love the characters. One thing about me, I don't care about an age gap, but if you keep bringing attention to the age gap, then I start really getting frustrated by it. And we have one of our main characters calling the other main character, the younger one, kid. So that was kind of icky for me. Like I wish like he could have stopped saying that from the first couple of chapters, I guess, and then would have been fine. But no, he kept saying it. And then also at the same time, it was kind of insta-lovey too. At least from one character, it was insta-lovey. From the other one, it really wasn't. But it's just the whole book felt kind of rushed and kind of boring, to be honest. I was just looking forward to finishing it because I was bored. I didn't care about anything. I didn't care about the spice because I don't mind spice in books. I don't care if they have it, if they don't. But if they do have it, I only like it if I like the characters. If I don't like the characters or if I don't care about them, I'm not gonna like the spice. So with this book, I was just bored throughout the majority of it. And then apparently I was tired of romances, so I picked up a thriller, mystery kind of book, and that is The Girls I've Been by Tess Sharp. So this is a young adult thriller, and we're following Nora. She used to be a con artist with her mom, and then years later she is out of that life. She's done with it, and she ends up going to the bank, and she ends up being in the middle of a robbery. So throughout the book, we're following the present and the past. The present is her trying to get herself and all of these innocent people out of the robbery. In the past chapters, we're seeing her and what she has gone through every con job that she has done. This was really interesting. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I think that the writing was done really well. It was a very fast-paced thriller book, and I was very pleasantly surprised with it. I didn't love the ending. If we could have cut it shorter, I think that would be more interesting, I guess. Kind of like see what ends up happening and then just finish the book like that with a couple of question marks. But at the same time, I guess it wasn't that bad. So yeah, this one was a really good one. And if you're looking for a more so fast-paced, very thrilling thriller, I would highly recommend this one. And then I read The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. This is the first Frida McFadden book that I read. I have not read another book from Frida McFadden, and I don't know if I will. I feel like I'm gonna give her another chance. I ended up giving this 3 stars, so I liked it, but it was a bit boring. I was expecting more. It doesn't really have that much of a thrilling plot to it, and the ending was kind of out of nowhere, but at the same time it kind of makes sense. I don't know, I like a plot twist. That's the whole point why I like reading thrillers. But the plot twist needs to be somewhat realistic, somewhat make sense. And I guess this kind of made sense with the book, but it was a tiny bit crazy and not realistic at all. So I didn't love it. It was like a very easy, I guess, thriller to read. So if you're looking for that, okay, pick it up. But I don't see what the hype is about. Yeah, it didn't feel that amazing to me. I do think that I'm gonna pick up another book from Frida McFadden. My cat is being a menace. I don't know what is happening with her. I don't think that I'm gonna pick up another book from Frida McFadden. Maybe when I want to read something very easy that is not gonna make me think a lot, maybe then. But yeah, I didn't love it. Then I read a thriller that was amazing, and that thriller is The Return of Ellie Black by Emiko Jean. This was so good. This was amazing. This was thrilling. This was shocking. This was so twisted. I would say this is not young adult. It is a tiny bit disturbing, I guess, and it's definitely a book that by the end of it you're gonna be shocked, disturbed, kind of disgusted, especially if you're a female. This has so many messages behind it, especially about what it's like being a female in this world and trying to achieve different things as a female in man-heavy jobs, man-heavy workplaces. And it was honestly done so well. Yeah, I was shocked reading this book. I actually have a reading vlog putting all 3 of those thrillers that I talked about, and I feel like you can see my reactions and my opinion better in that video. But yeah, I really loved it. I give it 4.5 stars. This is probably my favorite thriller that I have ever read. And I haven't read like that many, but I have read a handful of them, and I really love this one. I highly recommend it, especially if you're not a person that gets triggered easily. If you get triggered, don't read this one. Definitely search trigger warnings, because it was a lot. So I would say check trigger warnings, and if you cannot see anything that will trigger you, definitely pick it up. It's so good. The next book is Love in the Time of Serial Killers by Alicia Thompson. This was on my TBR for the month, and I actually had fun reading it. It was enjoyable. I have heard mixed things about this book, but it wasn't that bad. I was expecting that I was not going to like it, but I actually did. I had fun. I gave it 3 stars. I think that is really fun. We have Phoebe, and she moves to this... No, she doesn't move. She goes to her father's house because her father passed away. So she goes there to kind of clean everything up and get the place ready to sell it. And she goes there and she meets her neighbor, and she's like, oh, he's a serial killer. So that whole part was not the best for me. I feel like the character that we see in the beginning of the book was a fully different character than the one that we see throughout the rest of the book. So there was kind of a confusion I guess, for me. But other than that, I actually had fun reading this book. I'm definitely gonna read more books from this author because this plot felt kind of far-fetched, whereas the other ones, from what I have seen at least, the other books that this author has seem more realistic, more regular, I guess. So yeah, I did enjoy the characters in this book and I did really like them. And if you excuse the first 20-30% of the book where she believes that he's a serial killer, I think this book was really fun and I actually really enjoyed it. Have a lot of fun, and it was a great book to read in November actually. Also, something else, if you don't like true crime and if you don't know anything about it, don't pick this one up because she talks a lot about true crime. So when she was talking about that, I did not understand anything. So if you're not a true crime fan, maybe don't pick this one up. Then I read Fake Dates and Mooncakes by Shirley Lee. This is a male-male romance. I would say that it's a new adult and I really enjoyed it. I think that it was done well, but not amazingly well. Basically, the whole book felt kind of rushed. So we have Dylan and Theo, and they end up fake dating and going to a wedding, and then they tried to save Dylan's family shop. I will say the wedding part was definitely my favorite. The rest of the book just felt kind of rushed, and I think that it could have been done better if there was more thought put into it, and maybe a couple more pages, because I feel like the fact that this is short was not great for this book because the author tried to do so many things and they put so many things in this book without the pages to put those things in. So this whole book felt kind of rushed, especially the ending. The ending felt really rushed. I wish that we could have either maybe deleted some things so that it would have made more sense as a short book, or if maybe we could have made it a tiny bit longer. But I still had fun with it. I give 3 stars. I think that it was a decent, enjoyable male-male romance. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a no thoughts kind of romance, I guess pick this one up, but I think that it had a lot of things that could have been done better. And then last book of the month is My Epic Spring Breakup by Kristen Rockaway. 2 stars. I do not like this book. This is a young adult book. Yeah, this is supposed to be like a love triangle. I don't see the point of having the love triangle in this book. It was not done great. It was not done well. This book was not enjoyable. Sorry about that. My memory card was full. What was I saying? I feel my main character was not enjoyable at all. I did not like it. She was very frustrating and annoying. I liked one of the guys, but other than that, this was boring. This was frustrating. I was just looking forward to finishing it, and I would not recommend it. Is it the worst thing that I have ever read? No, but it's not good. So yeah, I wouldn't say pick this one up. The cover is pretty, so there's that. But other than that, there's nothing else. So yeah, those are all the books that I read this month. I read quite a few books, and I found some really good ones and some really bad ones, but I mean, you win some, you lose some, so that's fine. Let me know your favorite book that you read this month. Maybe I can find a new book that I'm going to pick up and really love. But yeah, that's all I had to say. I hope that you liked this video, and I hope that I'll see you in my next one. Bye!
You give me butterflies when you smile, and it feels so good.